Well, back home on Dalal Street, it was a mixed close as benchmark indices shed 0.4% each. Yes Bank tops list of Nifty gainers, ends above 30% as street cheers reports of nil divergence, and the broader markets, they outperformed benchmarks to end higher by 0.6%. Nifty Bank also ended in the green, posted minor uptick on back of Yes Bank's biggest ever intraday gain. And we have Anisha Jain who joins in to get us all the market cues we need to watch out for trade today. Hey Anisha, good morning.
Hi Sonal, good morning. Well, yes, as you mentioned, we opened in the green, but during the day we lost steam. And as you mentioned, the benchmark indices ended around 0.5% lower. And that is actually correlated with what is happening in crude as well. Because yesterday, throughout the day, crude was inching higher, went past the level of 64. And this morning, it has gone past the level of $65 per barrel. So that could be an added headwind for the Indian markets. Of course, Yes Bank was the key stock in focus. But other than that, a lot of stocks saw the double-digit move, stocks like CG Power, Karur West, etc. In fact, as you mentioned for Yes Bank, not only it was the highest intraday gain for the stock, the volumes as well were high when it comes to the delivery position. Talking about the volumes for the entire market as well, the volumes were on the higher side because remember, yesterday was the options expiry for both Bank Nifty as well as Nifty, which happened for the first time yesterday, and the overall market volumes were high. I leave it to Mangalam to tell you which levels were the most active, but if you look at the cash market activity, that also had a lot of cues because the FIIs, they sold in around 250 crores in the cash equity markets, while the DIIs, they were the ones who pumped in the money around 1,200 crores in the cash equity markets. The cues for today are a tad bit somber because as you were talking about, the US retail sales have hit the lowest level in over a decade. The US retail sales declined by around 2% in the month of December, and that's the reason all the US markets ended in a tizzy. Yes, Nasdaq was a tad bit of outperformer because that one ended in the green, but nonetheless, the cues continue to be weak. And actually, this led to the overall worry regarding the global growth concerns and trade concerns. The treasury yields went lower. The dollar was weak. Yesterday itself, we saw the rupee weakening a tad bit. Let's see what impact it has on the rupee today. But separately, there are reports that Chinese President Xi Jinping will meet the US counterparts and delegates on Friday, which is today, to discuss the trade issues. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Other than that, Europe was largely lower because of the US retail sales and the fact that Theresa May has lost the Brexit vote. Asia this morning is more or less in the red, with the early rates from Nikkei, etc. being in the red, 1% lower. SGX 50, however, is showing a flattish start. The local cues for today, well, it's the last day of the earnings, but separately we're tracking the big national headline, the despicable attack on in Kashmir on the 44 Jawans, which martyred yesterday in that attack. Despicable, condemnable, but the hearts go on for the family and the soldiers there. But we have a cabinet committee on security to meet today morning, so we'll keep an eye out on that when it comes to the national headlines.
Absolutely, Anisha. Heart goes out to all our martyrs up there in Jammu and Kashmir. But Anisha, tell us about the stocks that we should be focusing on for today's trading session.
Well, don't lose sight of Jet Airways today because not only the losses have reduced on a quarter-on-quarter basis, the fact that the restructuring proposal has been accepted is the key positive for the stock today. I'll leave it to Sonia to tell you more details on that. But separately, keep an eye out on Infosys as well because they have backed an order from RBL Bank. Sugar stocks will be in focus because there's a sweetener as the minimum support price has been increased to 31 versus 29 earlier. There were like 1,000 earnings yesterday. Possibly I can't take all the names, but just to give you a key highlights, in terms of the good numbers, we have Glenmark, JSK Consumers, Everready, as well as ONGC and India Bulls Real Estate that beat expectations, as well as JK Tyre reported good set of numbers. On the weak side, however, Nestle disappointed with its numbers, and even if you look at Voltas, which reported numbers just in the dying hours, the numbers look a tad bit weak. Back to you.